The crust features saltine crackers. Start by whisking up an egg white. It's gonna help hold the cracker crust together. And then 2 cups of finely crushed saltines. Maybe this is why they call it Atlantic beach pie, because I feel like the crust is gonna look like the seashore on the Atlantic coast. Also just made that up. But if I'm right, I'm smart. I'm gonna add this to the egg along with melted butter and some sugar. Sweeten it up a bit. Make sure everything's well coated, and then we press it into our pie plate. On the bottom and up the sides. All right, that is how you turn the crackers into a crust. You have to freeze this for about 10 minutes and then bake it for about 10 minutes at 350. Now I just have to mix up the filling. In this bowl, I've got sweetened condensed milk with 4 egg yolks. To that, I'm adding 1/4 cup of lemon juice and lime juice. So very similar to a key lime pie meets a lemon icebox pie. You can see where I'm going. Okay, and then lemon zest and lime zest, and a little bit of vanilla. Pour this into the crust while it's a little bit warm, and then it goes into the oven 350 degrees for just about 15 minutes. Then you let it cool, let it chill, slice it up. Here she is in all her glory. This is my favorite kind of pie. That crust cut beautifully. Fresh whipped cream. To me, it's perfect, but you can add a little more zest if you want. That is festive, and I'm excited. That crust, though. That works. The crust really, it's not overly sweet, like sometimes graham cracker crust can be. So it's letting that filling shine. And taste just the crust. That's a winner. I don't know who invented this recipe, but I'm here for it. And I will be using saltine crackers to make a crust again. Saltines are the star of the show in this dessert. It is called soda cracker pie, so typically made with soda crackers, but saltines work just fine. I'm gonna start by beating egg whites until they're stiff peaks. Stiff peaks. I'm gonna incorporate the sugar, and a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. This is gonna make it get fluffy. And 20 saltines that have been finely crushed. Also a cup of chopped pecans and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I feel like this could get really sticky. Pie plate, grease it, mixture right in. I feel like this is some sort of magic dessert too. And this just goes into the oven, 325 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes, and then we let it cool completely. Look at this soda cracker pie. Looks like a giant cookie, but very tender. Never had a pie like this before. When I was reading about it, it seems like this kind of pie is a perfect canvas for whatever you really want to put on top or serve with it. I like the suggestion of topping it with some whipped cream and then a sprinkle of cinnamon. Never eaten this many crackers in a day, I can tell you that. Inside almost looks like there's a little gooiness, sort of like in a pecan pie, which I wasn't expecting, so kind of excited about that. I didn't know what to expect. And it's better than I thought it was gonna be. Like almost everything else has been today. The bottom has that like delightful chewiness to it. Almost like the pecan pie was cooked longer than normal. Like it doesn't have that like gooey, but the chewy, I can't even describe it. And then the top is so light, it almost melts in your mouth. That crackly, light sugar topping. I sort of got worried thinking that this might be like just a dry, crumbly situation. It's sweet, it's chewy, it's light and airy at the same time. This is a pie I would make again. Ice cream plus saltines, saltine ice cream sandwich. This is not a joke. If you are a fan of ice cream with French fries, then this one's for you. It is what it is. I'll show you how to make it, but I think you get the picture. Got a caramel swirl, vanilla ice cream. So I think that sounds really good. And you put the top cracker on, give it a little smush. Then you take end of a butter knife or a little spatula, smooth the edges. Okay, ice cream sandwich. I mean, you could just go straight in and eat it, but let it freeze together because you won't believe it. Because what I thought was the cracker's gonna get soggy. Remember how sometimes we keep our chips and popcorn in the freezer and they stay crunchy? Somehow it's like the same science. And trust me, this is better than doing it with cookies. So you get the idea. Pop these in the freezer and watch. Here they are frozen. I'm just gonna dig right in before I show you what else you can do with it. Just to show you that it's still crunchy and not soggy. Telling you, this is gonna be something that you start doing. It's gonna become a regular thing in your house. This is the perfect like nighttime treat. Another thing I love is that the cracker, even though this all just came straight from the freezer, is not so cold you can't bite into it. So they're delicious just like this. If you want to make them extra special, get some melted chocolate, give it a little Dunkaroo, and then pop them back in the freezer. Or you can do this before you freeze them to begin with. If you don't try this one, I'm gonna be mad at you. Now the next dessert scares me just a little bit. Saltine cracker pudding. Who is that? Saltine cracker pudding is up next. This could go either way. This could be a soggy mess, or it could be delicious. So far, these crackers have not let me down, not once. I've got 4 cups of milk heating up. To that, I'm gonna add in a cup of sugar, 1 cup of coconut, and 2 cups of our crackers that I've crushed up. I'm just gonna bring this up to a simmer until that sugar dissolves. There are several ways you could make this. I'm not really following our recipe, but I combined a bunch of recipes to figure out the best way. This seems like the best way. So once this is really hot, we're going to temper the eggs. This is just how you make vanilla custard. This is whole eggs, not just the yolks though. So we're gonna take some of this warm mixture into here, heat this up a little bit, and then pour it all in. We don't wanna have scrambled eggs. So the eggs are really gonna thicken it and turn it into pudding. Just gonna bring this up to a simmer and let it cook until it's thickened. It'll take about 5 minutes. Okay, so look how thick it got. Finish it off with a little vanilla. And then, because I'm going to picture this as my grandmother's rice pudding, she always put raisins in it. And it says you can put raisins in it. So I'm going to. All right, now we refrigerate it until it's cold. Transfer it to a bowl. I'm really taking one for the team here on this one. But I want to do everything you can do with saltines. Here goes nothing. You can see how thick it sets up. I'm going to picture Momo's rice pudding. It's just a simple, sweet dessert. The coconut adds a little texture in there. I am pleased to say it doesn't taste like mushy crackers. That's all I was really worried about. It's not as good as rice pudding, but it works. This is another use of crackers as a good thickener. Just adds bulk. Not my favorite of the day, but I'd probably eat it again. We're bringing it home with my favorite childhood snack. I would be remiss to do a whole saltine episode without showing the most obvious way to serve up a saltine, which is the base for the most delicious snacks. I'm gonna show you 2. It's a 2-for-1 special. If you followed me for a minute, then you know about this snack. This is what my mom, still to this day, will put out as an appetizer. Cracker. It's really best if you do 4 at a time. Cheese. American cheese. You fold it once, and then again. And you get 4 slices that fit perfectly on a saltine. Little mayo on each cracker, cheese on top. See how it fits perfect? Piece of American cheese. And then a dill pickle. Not the expensive kind, the kind you had when you were a kid. This right here is the original perfect bite. This is the one. Haven't had it in a minute. If you want to know where the perfect bite came from, this one. I give my mom credit for making up the perfect bite, but it was with this snack. Here's a fancy version, but still not fancy. You know, a saltine is the definition of when I say sometimes the simplest things are the best. I learned this one from, I think she is the cheese gal on TikTok. I mean, I've always put butter on my crackers. That's not the trick. Sprinkle of flaky salt. Still haven't hit the surprising element. Squeeze of a lemon. That just sounds so good. Cheers.